It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. That music means one thing. Coach Dave McGinnis is in the building with us for his weekly conversation. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling with you. Coach Mac, presented by our friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans. Good morning, Coach Mac. How are we?
Hi, Will. Hi, Kayla.
What's up, Coach?
What up, Matt?
Hey, Ramon.
That's what that is right there is a coach going from talking to staffers in the building to talking to a player right there, just real quick.
Yeah,
Real quick.
You're like, Ramon, I came in here to try to sit down in this chair.
Yeah.
And you had stuff like European vacation spread out everywhere in here. And so I was just wondering if you didn't remember I was coming in at 7:20.
You know what?
Or you thought, you know what, I don't care. Matt can sit on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Coach, that's real. That's really you to assume that. And a portion
don't
of
you want me
me,
to sit on the floor?
no, because the portion of me treated this like my locker room space, okay?
Right.
Like this is a locker room, and coaches occasionally do a drive-by in there and sit down.
100%
And
right.
I didn't keep my space clean, Coach.
Okay.
But you know what? I usually play with an empty locker next to mine. I usually have two lockers, Coach.
Excuses. Somebody's gone.
Those are excuses.
Somebody got cut.
Somebody, yeah. I wasn't hoping they got cut, but I enjoyed that free locker next to mine. I accumulated a lot of stuff, Mac.
Well, so first of all, you're telling me that I might get cut. That's what you were thinking, number one.
Wow.
Safe as
Whoa,
one air.
Ramon.
And so the other thing is, talking about lockers, when I was coaching here, we brought all the nuns over from that convent, that's up there on the hill.
Yeah.
About 60 of them came over one night, and I showed them film, and we had dinner, and we had dinner and dinner and stuff for them, and they were out there. I took them to the bubble, and they were playing touch football with those, those rosary beads flapping, and they were running down there. But anyway, I took them in the locker room, and of course they're teachers. Or the Dominicans are teachers, and they were looking. They said, "Coach Mac, do you care if we write some notes to these players?" And I said, well, sure. And so here, CJ, they put the holy card up for CJ. We're praying for you, CJ. We love watching you play. Locker is a little messy, C-.
That is awesome.
And the guys loved it.
That is the coolest
So the
story.
next day, they all came back to us. Coach Mac, I said, yeah, well, they graded you. Said, well, I got a B+. I think that's good, isn't it? I said,
Okay, that's phenomenal.
That's crazy. We went to St. Vincent College. It's the second largest monastery in the world. And we play, we play at we do camp there. And for me, it freaked me out the first time. I never seen a monk in real life. like dedication to it. Like they live on campus. Everything they need is from campus. They usually have jeans. I'm sure the nuns did too. Jeans, shoes, and then nothing else. Everything belonged to everybody else.
Oh, wow.
And when this is also it, and I'm sure you can learn some stuff too, is when they pass away, fold them up, pass them to the next person behind them.
Wow.
They own nothing.
Wow.
They dedicate
we think
themselves.
we know what discipline is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said. All right.
That's cool, Mac. That's
No, well,
we can do this talk right here.
That just daisy chained off the fact that I had nowhere to sit.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what?
glad you called them out.
That's real, because you're a real one, Coach.
Well, yeah,
I'm a little bit.
You're welcome.
See.
Coach Mac, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Look to the folks at Farm Bureau Health Plans when you need someone who knows the health coverage game plan. They've been protecting Tennesseans for 75 years. Coach Mac, the run defense for Kansas City has been excellent this year. Top 5 against the run this season. What makes this Chiefs defense so good at stopping the run?
Well, they got dudes up front now. And they really do. And Spags, Steve Spagnuolo is a very, very experienced defensive coordinator, has been doing it a long time there. His people up front are healthy, and that's a big, big deal. And then plus Bolton and Gay back there behind the line, those are probably two of the fastest that he's had to back up that line back there. And here's the other thing that really helps. I mean, if you really want to start looking at numbers, people don't get to run it out of them a lot because the score's separated. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just the life in the National Football League. Score separated, then you're not going to turn around and hand it off and keep pounding it, and their scores have been separated quite a bit because you didn't ask me about offense, but it all goes together. But Spags, I've known Spags all the time that he's been in the league, the whole time I've been in the league, and what he really wants to rush with 4.
Yeah.
He wants to play with a 7-man box and cover back there. It's what he really wants to do now. Derrick Henry this weekend, Derrick Henry just might as well know that he's going to live with 8 people in the box as long as he's putting a cleat on a field. Because whether we get off a bus somewhere or whether we come out here to Nissan, people are showing up. Even if it's not in their DNA, they show up with more people in the box.
Well, and, Coach, it seems like specifically with L'Jarius Sneed out of the secondary as well, the third-year corner out of Louisiana Tech, they've got willing tacklers on the outside in the secondary, and they use Sneed as a rusher. He's got a sack this season, I believe on Josh Allen a few weeks ago. It seems like everybody is involved in that effort, stopping the run of this defense.
Yeah, and what Spags will do, I mean, he's a lot of times, when he came in here to play us the last time here, he was a lot of zero blitz. I mean, he was bringing guys. I mean, he was flogging gaps and bringing guys. He's running some fire zone stuff now, but most of the times what he wants to do is, I mean, he wants to play with 7 up there, but we won't see that. Right. Derrick Henry will not see that, so we've got to get ready. We've got to get ready. Well, that's wrong in saying we've got to get ready for that. They know what's coming. They always know what's coming. And Derrick knows what's coming.
Yeah. And if we could stay on the defensive side one more time, Coach Mack, man, because we were supposed to do a scout meeting Wednesday yesterday, but we had number 1 Vols being discussed, so we passed on that a little bit.
Let me tell you what about the number 1 Vols. I love that. I told Ron Slay yesterday, I'm always having to tell him to keep his powder dry a little bit because he's about to spin off, in the next. But I told him, Vols pull this one off, I'll light his powder for him. I'll torch him up.
I heard you say that.
Well, I mean, it's true because this is a wonderful place to be right now. I mean, it really is. And this is now we're getting down once they had the first polls come out. It's getting pretty real now.
They get real. That anxiety goes up too, man.
Well, sure. And the pressure goes up.
Mm-hmm. But this is the part 2 of this team, man. They got 7 forced fumbles on the year so far. Like forced fumbles, Mac. They're going after the ball when you play against this team defensively.
Yeah, and I don't know any team in the National Football League that really doesn't, because that's part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, because you always – when you coach defense in this league, you understand, first of all, it's really hard to stop people on a consistent basis just because of how good everybody is and where the rules are. And the next thing is, but to be able to force fumbles, as you say, and work on it, you need more people to the ball because your initial guy can't be trying to force the fumble, or you'll never make a tackle.
Right.
All right, you'll never make a tackle. So you've got to have more than one person at the ball, and that's what they do. That's what this Titans team does. I mean, all the turnovers that they forced, punching it out. It doesn't matter whether you punch it, chainsaw it, rip it, whatever you do, but you need more people to the ball than just one, and that's what Spags has got his guys doing.
Yeah, man. Defensively, I think for the Titans, strongest side of the ball right now, of course, is with the way they're playing. They put fear in the people. But it's 2 categories, Coach Mack, that kind of got me when looking at this Kansas City team, and then you kind of expect it with a quarterback like this. 51.9% on third down, and this is the part that gets me. They're scoring touchdowns 76.7% of the time when they get to the red zone. Not 3. They're scoring touchdowns, Mac. It's got to be important to get them in negative yards in the middle of the field. Well,
the first thing is those are really gaudy numbers when you think about offenses, because you think about scoring. You're talking about, but you're talking about converting over half of your third downs, and see, that's the key. The key to being able to play a team that's that consistent. See, and they're more consistent now offensively than they've been because they're spreading the ball out more. They spread the ball out, and this quarterback's more mature than he was when he first came into the league, and when he first got his chance after he sat for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a gunslinger, and he was like the guy looking for the fences every time he got up. Now he's willing to hit the double. He's willing to hit it down the line. He's willing to get the punch single, over the. So he's willing to take some of those things. So he's got 8 double-digit receivers right now. They're catching the football, and they use their backs. And Andy and Eric Bieniemy, they're very innovative with it. But if the quarterback, and they run over 20% RPOs when you look at them, which is the highest in the league. You look at that's the highest in the league. But for RPOs to really work, your quarterback has to be a good decision maker.
Yeah.
And he's doing a nice job with that. So I mean, you're talking about top offense in the league. So I mean, there's 32 of them, and they're number 1, so we might as well play them.
Might as well.
So we've seen, though, in the past, the Titans shake Patrick Mahomes up. And Mahomes admitted he kind of underestimated the Titans' defensive line last year. Clearly, they know what they're expecting this year. But Big Jeff said we just need to continue to do what we did. So how do you see this breaking in terms of how do you get Mahomes out of his groove? Because it can happen.
Well, the first thing you've got to be able to do is consistently, a quarterback like this that has as much maneuverability and has as much off-schedule ability, you got to be able to cage rush him.
Yeah.
And you can't just, everybody can't blow their gaps up the field. You just can't, because when he escapes, him escaping to the edge is a problem, but more so up in the A and the B gaps.
Yep.
Because when you escape to an edge, you cut the field in half.
Yep.
Now, what doesn't cut the field in half with him, Kayla, when he escapes to an edge, is his arm strength.
Yeah.
Because everything's available. It's like, it used to be like playing Elway. He could run all the way to the sideline and throw it clear back across the field to the other one. This guy's the same way, and he doesn't have to have both feet under him to throw it. The thing that you want to try to do, though, is be able to be disciplined in your rush. You can rush the edge, but you need to push the edge to his depth. You can't run past his depth. You run past his depth, then you've created another gap up front. You not only create the gap that is there, you create another gap because of the width that you've taken on him. So inside, you've got to be, and you've got to be able to run some games on it. And then the other thing you do, like this team's done a nice job of, it's a little harder to match hands with a guy like this because of his launch angles.
Yeah.
Because you're not quite sure how it's going to come out of there. It's like those submarine pitchers. You're not quite sure how that ball is coming out of there, but you still got to be able to match hands. But the first thing you can't do is can't give him free access. And by free access, I mean voiding rush lanes.
We're talking about, Mahomes, but he also has, like you mentioned, a lot of weapons. No Tyreek Hill anymore. That doesn't seem to be a problem. What specifically has made Travis Kelce just game in, game out, year after year, that consistent tight end and somebody he can always rely on?
Well, he's a matchup nightmare.
Yeah.
He's a matchup nightmare. I mean, he really is. He's got extremely strong hands. He's really strong at the break point. And then, and you can say what you want. He's really strong at the push-off point. Yeah. He's a great combat catcher. And the other thing about him is he's relentless once he has the ball in his hands. He's not going down. He's not going down. So, and the fact that they don't have Tyreek Hill has led to the fact that it's spread out more.
Yep.
It's spread out more because that's a little bit of it's a big luxury. Well, the same thing's happening to Tua down there. You can dump it to that guy for 4 yards, and he can outrun everybody on the play yard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's the fastest kid on the playground, and so always, and so that's just what happens. When that goes on. Now he's spreading the ball out there. They're a really balanced offense, and I know Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's there. I liked him as a player. This Pacheco kid. This guy's a player.
Sure.
And he's starting to play more and more and more because he's a heavy contact balanced dude that can catch it, and he can also run individual routes. They got players. I mean, they're a good team.
Coach Mack, it's interesting that the Chiefs have only allowed 12 sacks this season. That's third fewest in the NFL. But when Mahomes gets sacked, teams are getting their money's worth. He's lost 87 total yards on those sacks, which is among the most yards allowed on sacks by any NFL team this year. Creed Humphrey, I remember, is a guy that you vetted coming out of the draft, the left-handed center out of Oklahoma, 6'4", 302, a bigger guy in the interior of the line. What do you see on film from him?
He might be one of the best centers in the league.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, he's not only a big dude, but he's very technical. He's really a good center. I mean, he kind of keeps it together in there. I think their center guard triangle is really good. It's really strong, and it always starts with the center, just like here with us. Our center guard triangle starts with Ben Jones. I like Creed Humphrey coming out. You mentioned he is left-handed. The reason Mahomes has all those minuses is because when he does get sacked, it's when he's breaking things and moving around. Yeah. And then once he breaks, he's moving around trying to find somebody. And if you're not plastered back there, everybody's got to play the plaster game once he gets free access. Whether you're in man or zone, you've got a plaster on who's in your area, back there at the second and the third levels. And so, I mean, he's giving ground. He's giving ground because he trusts his arm. Yeah. He's got an arm that can make up for loss of launch point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because even if the timing on a launch point is set at a certain place, he's got the arm to make up for it.
No doubt about it. Mac, when it comes to that OL too, I was looking at them. I was like, the makeup of them. If you're a coach, a GM, or somebody that's scouting, this is kind of the makeup that you want. As far as the undrafted right tackle, fair with what he done. Late round right guard, Trey Smith, we know him. Creed Humphreys, high round guy. Left guard, third round guard and Super Bowl champion. The same thing goes for the left tackle too. Like, they got youth, they got experience, they got a lot of pedigree on that OL right now.
Yeah, they do, and it helps. And let's just be honest. I mean, it helps. Your offensive line, I mean, you did it for a living for a lot of years. Your offensive line's helped when your skill guys are able to move the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Because, first of all, you've got to engage less time.
Yeah.
The ball's coming out quicker. As I said, 21% of their plays offensively are some form of an RPO.
Mm-hmm.
And an RPO is meant to put a two-way bind on a defense. But it also is gives you some alleviation on the stress on your offensive line.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it all goes together.
Yeah.
Did you guys just see the AFC Players of the Month come out?
Yes.
Derrick Henry, offensive.
Really?
Stonehouse, special teams.
Well, first of all, let's talk about Stonehouse.
Right?
I mean, I think all of us that, pay attention to special teams practice in training camp.
Yeah.
I'm talking about now. I'm talking about in training camp. You could look down there on that other. I mean, Rhett and I were standing together, and I think the second day, Rhett started timing him, from way away. He went,
Sure.
Mac, look at this, look at this, look at this. And you could see the leg strength, the thing you want. I mean, it's like watching somebody, hit it 340 yards off the practice tee.
Right.
You're sitting there on the driving range going, dude, that sounds different. Dude, that sounds different. If you've ever been on a driving range before you get ready to play, that just sounds different from that guy down there. Well, his sounded different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, when you get into competition, you're looking for somebody that can also hit the pin.
Yeah.
And he's getting a lot better at that. But he's flipped the field. Think of the fields that he's flipped, for this team to be 5-2 right now. Kayla had asked about, what you do when you play these guys. The reasons they've been able to beat Kansas City is not because, they've done anything magical, but there's always moments in a game where you've got a chance to turn it. Well, most of the times that they've beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, they've taken advantage of those moments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You get the turnover, the ball's there, you block the field goal. You do, anytime you've got or you get them out on the third down, that when time's running out, you've got to be able to capture every moment, because if you don't, you're probably going to get behind this group just because of how efficient they are. But Stonehouse, I mean, and Derrick Henry, I mean, you've got to be not watching.
Right.
To know how special he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people that have been in this business for a long time call me after several games going, what is this dude? And I said, well, it's just what you're seeing. And I said, and it's impressive to me because he knows, we know, the Titans know, they're going to be 9 people up there, 8.5, 9 people up there. You saw last week. I mean, Lovie Smith could not have Jalen Petrie from Baylor, was at the line of scrimmage probably 60% of the time. I mean, you can't put any more people up there.
Right.
And Derrick Henry just wants the ball.
Yeah.
Give me the ball. I did a thing for Microsoft that highlighted some of his runs and then some of the defense as to why Houston couldn't run the ball. But Derrick Henry's making moves now I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dropped safeties with a couple of okey dokes that I'm like, whoa. I mean, he's not
different.
I mean, he's running with everything that he has and even a little bit more. And he actually you can, and I don't ever talk to Derrick Henry. I don't, no reason for me to talk to Derrick Henry. But I watch him, and I've watched enough good backs to know he gets mad.
Yeah.
And when he's running mad, I mean, you got grown men that check their whole card.
Yeah.
Sure. It's the intimidation factor a little too, I feel like, with him.
Well, it's not so much intimidation. It's just the fact that this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Not just this time.
You know what you're going to get.
The next time. No, the next time. No, he's not just. It's not just like one time. Yeah. I mean, it. Ask this guy. I mean, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to say, all right, this is going to happen all afternoon, and I've got to be willing to let's go.
You got to have a right-minded group, as coaches usually tell us. Everybody got something dirty about their job, and for DBs who are used to just running, they don't want to do that dirty work right there.
Well, I mean, That's why they have those weight limits in little pee-wee football.
That's right.
Put that other colored helmet on that dude. You can't carry the ball.
Go from the red team to the blue team real quick.
Right?
I love it.
True.
Coach Mack with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, Will, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Need great health care coverage at an affordable price? Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans for 75 years. Thank you, Coach Mack.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Ramon,
Clean up my mess.
keep your place clean.
C minus.
Words of wisdom.
C minus, and God bless you.